If you've ever found yourself spiraling down a late night rabbit hole of what am I meant to do and why haven't I found it yet? And let's be honest, who hasn't? Then you're in the right place. I'm Theresa White, career clarity expert and 5-time certified career coach, and I'm here to help you navigate the question of how to find a career that truly lights you up. On Career Clarity Unlocked, we're all about those light bulb moments. I'm talking to people who are still trying to figure out what they're meant to do, coaching them live to reach that magical, yes, this is it moment. And we'll also hear from those who've already found their dream careers and figure out exactly how they did it. Whether you're looking for inspiration or actionable advice on finding a career you love, I've got you covered. Time to unlock some career clarity. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Career Clarity Unlocked. I am so excited for today's episode because we are welcoming back someone very close to my heart, Alica. If you tuned in last week, you'll remember that Alica was my guest and we got to dive into her incredible professional journey. Alica has been one of my closest friends for the last 16 years, and it was such an honor to share her story with you. And guess what? She is back this week, but this time we're switching things up. Today, you will get a front row seat to a live career clarity coaching session where we explore what's next for her. We're going to dive deep into those pivotal aha moments, the ones that make you realize what actually lights you up. And spoiler alert, that isn't a boring 9 to 5 for everyone. We'll explore how her natural energy, her gift for connection, and her deep need for meaningful impact are all pulling her toward a new, more exciting career path. It's real, it's raw, and it's packed with inspiration for anyone wondering what their next chapter could look like. So if you've ever felt a little stuck, a little uncertain, or just hungry for more, you're going to love this conversation. Before we jump in, a quick context on her Sparketype. Today's conversation centers around Alica's Sparketype profile. The Sparketype assessment is developed by Jonathan Fields, and you can take it for free on sparketype.com. And it helps us uncover the kind of work that makes you come alive. Alica's primary Sparketype is the advisor. That means she's most fulfilled when she's guiding and supporting others through growth, challenges, and discovery. She thrives by walking alongside others, building trust, and helping others soar. Her shadow Sparketype is the nurturer, which means she also naturally lifts up, cares for, and creates safe, empathetic spaces for others to feel seen, supported, and valued. So as you listen in, you will hear us connect the dots between Alica's natural talents, the moments that spark her joy, and how to build a career that feels truly aligned. All right, let's dive in. Welcome back, Alica. So the advisor, that's the coaching, mentoring, guiding, that's walking alongside others. Did that, you said it didn't resonate as much as the nurture, but does it resonate on some level for you?
Yes, definitely.
And it's not with the Sparketype, it's not so much, or it's not what we're good or bad at, it's about how we feel inside our body. So when we do that work of our primary shadow, it's that feeling that we get. And I think I can hear that when you share about how amazing a tour went, or one of those work experiences that really are fulfilling. It's that feeling that it's hard to even put into words sometimes, but it gives you just that feeling of like, oh my God, I love doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then when I think about that, that's definitely more the nurturing than the advising still.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In the overlap, so because they're both the two most service-driven Sparketypes, so they overlap very, very much. Actually gonna pull them up on my side.
I think maybe for that helps if I explain a little bit more.
Yeah,
because
please.
To guiding, there are so many aspects of guiding.
Yeah.
Where, of course, like advising, giving information about the destination or telling them where they can eat, or anything of that, of course, is probably part of the advising Sparketype. But the thing that I love the most about that job is the connection I have with the guests, where I just, that's where the nurturing comes in. Like sometimes they tell me their life story. A lot of them come onto these tours because, as bad as it sounds, maybe one of them is sick right now and they think it's their last trip, or they've just been working so hard and they had a burnout and they need to, go on this trip, or they saved up for this trip for so long. So, and, I feel like, and even other guides have told me this, that it seems like they always open up to me where maybe they don't open up to others. And I think that's where the nurturing comes in, the connection that I make with them, the friendships that I make. So that is really the part that I love the most about guiding.
Yeah. 100%. And I totally get it. I still see it as, and I don't like, it doesn't even matter too much what falls under nurture and advising. What I feel and always think with a Sparketype, I don't feel advisor is actually a good name for that Sparketype.
I think I agree with that.
It's not about giving someone advice. Because when we read the description, it's about walking beside others, being with them, guiding them as they move forward, developing and sustaining personal relationship that cultivate trust, confidence, create a safe container for growth, being that trusted guide that fosters self-awareness, helping others soar by developing their inner trust, competence, confidence, self-reliance. So it is, and then the nurturing is very similar. It is the giving care, taking care, offering support, seeing, hearing, holding others, walking alongside others. It's almost hard to separate those two, I think, in your case, because when you are with customers, for example, or guests, for example, those both happen, right? You're there to see them, hold them, take care of them, but also walk alongside them. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, when you read out the description, I definitely agree. It sounded completely like what I would be doing there and what I love doing. But yeah, I think when you just think about the word advising, I actually really dislike it, because to me, it almost seems like I'm telling someone what to do, or I'm telling someone this is the right way, or this is like a fact. And I don't like that. And I don't see myself like that.
Yeah. And I agree. I've always struggled with the term advisor, because it's exactly that. It's not about giving advice. It's the opposite. It's about helping others find their own answers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The little bit, if there's the nuance between the advisor and the nurturer, is the advisor is about being with someone as they go through a process of discovery or growth, or being with them on the journey they're on. And the nurture is more about just being with them.
I mean, when you think about it that way, then it's definitely more the advisor, because we are, I mean, literally on a journey.
Right.
And yeah, we are. And for a lot of the guests, it's very special. Like I said, they have things going on, or they have things to celebrate, or it's their first time, or they've never spent that much money on a trip. So a lot of them, at the end of the trip, they cry because they had such a great time and they made memories for a lifetime. And so it really is like we are like in it together for that period of time of the trip.
That is so beautiful. So when we think about, what moments come to mind for you when we're thinking about doing that work of guiding, being in a relationship, or having that connection with others, taking care of them, supporting them on those journeys? What are some of the best moments that come to mind for you when you think back on the last 10 years? And it can also be outside of paid work. It doesn't just have to be paid work, any kind of activities.
And most of the things that come to mind are probably guiding. I mean, even just times where people were afraid of doing things, maybe people were afraid to do the zip line, and I was able to do it, kind of talk them into it in a nice way, like encourage them, motivate them, and then they would say it was the best thing ever. Or I still think about these two cute little girls. We were in the Galapagos and they were so afraid that they would see a shark while we were snorkeling. And then what happened? Of course, we saw a shark snorkeling and they just came over and held my hand while we were snorkeling. And then, of course, that was the highlight of the trip. So, like, I think like things where maybe people are afraid or uncertain, and with my help, they kind of step out of their comfort zone. And then in the end, it was like the best experience they've had. So that probably
That's so touching. And this was the perfect description of the Sparketype advisor, of you being the one to be there with them so that they can overcome a fear or uncertainty and have that incredible experience.
I mean, and those are mostly the moments, you know, that made for us as guides, or for me as a guide, the trip so special. Because that's something they still talk about to this day. And, you know, they sometimes still reach out like, oh, remember this, or thank you for this. And, but other besides guiding, I would say even planning events, like even just my own wedding, I really enjoyed, like when everything came together, like when I had a vision and I was able to work hard and like fulfill my own vision and see it come to life the way I want it to, with my own resources.
What was the best moments of that? Like, what was the moment where in your body you were like, oh my God, this is feels so good?
I don't really know. Because I mean, I think it was when I think about the wedding, it was really more mostly like the decoration and all of that, you know, just seeing it all put together, seeing it even now on photos. Yeah, I think just
with the decorations, so that's, you're creating that space with the decorations and you do that so beautiful. Just look at last weekend. Is it about or at your wedding, is it about it's both, right? But is the fulfilling more about that the table looks really beautiful, or is it about creating that space for the people to be in and setting that space for the people to be in?
I do think it's both, because as beautiful as I often think those things are, like you mentioned last week, my daughter's birthday party, I also feel like sometimes other people don't appreciate it, but like I do. So I love seeing it that way, because I think it's a vibe. It sets a vibe. It's you know, for me it's very different if you put plastic containers on a table and a bag of chips, or if you have beautifully own picked flowers, a home baked cake, and some like wooden decor. So I think that's it's the vibe, it's the atmosphere. And really a lot of it is also just even if other people don't like it, which I hope they all did, but it's for me the fulfillment of I created something that I had in my mind and I was able to make that happen.
Yeah. And I wonder if there's a piece of that also plays in with the advisor nurture. There is one thing you're very talented at creating a beautiful space, and that in itself is really fulfilling. But also that ability to set the vibe and the atmosphere and create that beautiful space for people where they can come together or where they can enjoy the day. I don't know if you would agree or see that as well, that there is a piece of there is a piece about it being for the people who come into that space.
I mean, I do see it, and I would think that for most events, that's the goal. It's most of the time really for the guests. Often it's not even really about the couple or whoever celebrates. I feel like often it is for the guests, because you want the guests to be comfortable and happy. But I still sometimes feel like just referring back to the birthday party, I don't think anybody valued it as much as I actually did. I don't think anybody saw the work I put into it or actually really felt how beautifully it looked the way I did, because I think they're different people.
Yeah.
I think for some of them, I want to say probably for half of the people who were there, they would have been just as happy with plastic containers and chips and would have had just the equally or the same amount of fun.
Yeah.
But I think that's also, and maybe I don't know if this is important for our conversation, but one thing that I'm craving in my personal life, but also in then my next career, is a community. So I want those type of people who get the vibe and appreciate that.
Yes.
But I don't think I fully have that yet. So even though I put all the work in and I loved how it came out, I think half the people didn't care. And so because I know that half of them didn't care, I don't think it was actually setting necessarily.
Yeah. And if you would create a gathering in any kind where you get to create that vibe and the atmosphere of it being natural and sustainable and handpicked flowers that just really care, like there so much care goes into every detail, and it's people who would appreciate it, then it might feel even more fulfilling.
Oh yes. Yeah, if I could get the feedback and the like confirmation and affirmation.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
What are other times in your life that come to mind? We can use more example from guiding. When you think about where really like those examples where you were able to help others overcome fear, uncertainty, or where you just felt that was really meaningful, that relational impulse that was happening.
I feel like all my guiding experiences or examples are kind of similar to the ones I've explained. But one thing that came to mind in the beginning when we had just launched a podcast, the very first episode, people actually reached out and said, like, wow, what a great episode. Like, it totally helped me. And it's so sad because it's so long ago. Now we don't really get those messages often anymore. But I remember one of them was my cousin's wife, and she had just had a baby. And our first episode is being hungry for more isn't selfish. So I talk a lot about even moms needing self-care and needing time for themselves. And I guess it was just the perfect timing for her. She needed to know it, and it had really helped her, and it encouraged her to do things on her own without the baby. So I just remember that felt good.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So it's not just the fulfilling part is not just about having the episode, but then seeing the impact it had on someone else. You made a positive impact in their life, and hearing that's where the fulfillment comes from.
I mean, I would think for most people who have a podcast, the goal is to, well, no, okay. I mean, some topics are not like, or some podcasts are a completely different theme or topic. But for anyone, mine is a health and lifestyle podcast, the goal is to have an impact on people. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Not everyone will get the same level of fulfillment from the impact. There are some people who are really fulfilled by sharing knowledge, and it's about that sharing knowledge. I am fulfilled when I can solve a problem. And what I'm trying to find is, like, I think for you, the fulfillment comes from that impact it had on someone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think, I mean, that shows in anything I have done my whole life. I mean, I even like the podcast. Now I take care of this elderly lady. When I see how happy she is just because I'm there or because I crossed 2 things off her to-do list, is so meaningful, even though it's the smallest thing. yeah, I mean, one thing I haven't done, but I still want to bring up because it is a goal of mine, is when I finally instruct a fitness yoga class.
Mhm.
Like my goal is to have that impact on these people, that they say like, oh, I came to this class feeling crappy, but now I feel so good. That's my goal. I'm not there yet, but yeah, definitely it's the impact my class or my energy would have on the students.
Yeah, and you'll be amazing at it.
And I think now that you say it too, what came up was a lot of people refer to my energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like guests have always said, you have such a great energy. And that's what the elderly lady always says, like your energy, it's just so contagious. And so I think, yeah.
Yeah. How would they describe your energy?
It's hard to talk about right now because recently has been a little bit hard. And of course, your energy at home with your husband or friends sometimes is different because you always, share really how you're feeling. But I want to say especially, and nowhere else, honestly, nowhere else do I have the energy that I have when I'm guiding.
Mm-hmm.
And not always when I'm guiding. Like, let's say if I don't have a very nice co-guide, or I'm homesick or whatever. Like it's not always that way, but let's say it's just a typical like great tour. My energy, I have so much energy. I'm just like beaming. I'm just glowing. I'm just happy. I'm funny. I would say I'm always very, very approachable and very personable. So that I think I'm always, but like usually my energy is, they always say it's just like contagious, like happy, passionate. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. What are some moments when you think back to times where you felt that energy of that energy, like having so much energy where it's contagious for all your guests, where they all feel it? Tell me more about those moments where you felt that.
Hmm. There are so many that I don't really have examples. I think it's when they feel my energy, that they radiate that same energy back to me, and that I can be someone that I'm not always. So, for example, it takes a certain amount of people or a certain group or a certain type of people, I guess, for me to completely 100% be myself. And I honestly even think maybe my closest friends haven't even fully seen me like that, or even my husband, where I am so like funny and silly and I can joke around with them, I can tease them. Yeah, those were moments, even just me on the microphone on the coach, I just joking. Yeah, but my typical energy is even just me getting excited about the thought of going ziplining. They all get excited because I'm so excited for the 10th time going on that same zip line because I truly love it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the things, also everything that has given me so much pleasure in life or in a career, it's all hands-on physical work.
Yeah. And is it that you need it's a relational impulse. I hear it's about that impact that you have on others, of like you see them get excited, you see them lighting up, you see them having fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's very clear of the work that it's very clear that you want to do work where you spend the majority of your time being able to tap into that energy and have an impact on others, of help them overcome fear, uncertainty, get them excited to do something, create or set the vibe or the atmosphere for them to be in a beautiful space, help them in one way or the other, get them excited about what's about to come.
Yes, I think, and this is now not career related, but that's, I think, in general, who I am as a person. And you, I think, will know this for me. And I hate the term because it's so overused, especially on social media, but like to live your best life.
Yeah.
Like that's truly what I want for myself, and I want that for others. And I feel like so many people are not living their best lives because whatever reason they think they have. And I want them to, look past that reason, or get out of their comfort zones. And I think with a lot of things I have done in my career, I have been able to do that. I mean, even a simple thing as zip line, some of them would have maybe not done it and then regretted it.
Right.
Whereas I'm always, if I have this opportunity, I'm going to take it. I will do it. And I want to do it because it makes me happier. Or even, I mean, even talking to you now, it makes me sad that I never fully became a health or more life coach. Because when I did some coaching back to the impact, getting messages like, oh, I've lost weight, or I feel great today, or I did this or that. I mean, that's what, makes me feel accomplished and great. And
100%. So when we think about opportunities where you can do that work, where you do the majority of the work that having that impact on others, let's just brainstorm, no matter if it's realistic or not, everything that comes to mind. And we can start with the obvious, right? The yoga fitness teaching, guiding, obviously, tour guide. Coaching, we'll write that on the list too. If you don't need to, but what else comes to mind when you're like, those are moments where that would revolve around that?
Event or wedding planning.
What is it about the event and wedding planning? Is it for you that you feel really drawn to?
It's the relationship probably along the way with the bride or the person, and then taking, I guess, the worry from them so they can enjoy the day. And then in the end, knowing you did that, it had that impact and you accomplished the vision they had, I was able to provide.
That's beautiful. Yeah, 100% event and wedding planning, specifically wedding planning, because there is so much emotion that goes into it. What else comes to mind when you think about opportunities where you can build a relationship with people and help them take the worry from them, or guide or be alongside them as they go through a challenge and overcome that?
I mean, one thing I haven't mentioned is my wedding officiant job. I mean, I really enjoy that too, but the relationship is so brief, but I do enjoy it while it lasts, but it is so short. But so I do enjoy that a lot as well.
Would you enjoy it even more and that's a hypothetical scenario, but if you were to guide them throughout the entire process versus just the end of it?
Yeah, from beginning to end, I would love that.
Yeah. That would be amazing. That would be such a beautiful place for you to be, because that is one role that brings so much together, right? It's that relationship that you build with them. It's all the emotions that are going to come up during that process, and then having that beautiful event at the end.
So I do, I know this is also positive, but for me, sometimes I don't see it that way. There are just so many things I think I would love, but I think not one like really stands out, which makes it harder for me. But for example, with this now, with the weddings from beginning to end, I know I would enjoy it, but I think one piece that would be missing in this particular one is, as beautiful as it would be to be alongside them from beginning to end, and it would give me what I'm craving in a career, like the impact, but it's not enough high energy for me. Whereas like the guiding or even maybe the instructing is like a little bit more high energy in between. And I don't need a constant high energy, but I think with the weddings, it's, yeah, I don't know. There's something missing.
Yeah.
And sorry, but for like the guiding, that was like a good balance, because one day we're doing something a little bit more calm, which was usually not my favorite. But then the next day we're, I keep referring to ziplining. We did more than that. We go on a camel ride, horseback ride, or whatever. Like there's then this high.
Yeah.
And that's where people then really see like my excitement, and and I can get them hyped up for it. So I think, yeah. And for example, for instructing, I mean, that's a constant high, I would say too, but it's short, it's usually just an hour. But that's where I can just, give all the power and be high energy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the wedding. Yeah.
When we think about event planning, kids' birthday parties, they are more high energy than a wedding, for example. Would that be more exciting, or would it still not be?
I think my first thought, I would hate it.
Okay. I'm thinking spoiled parents and spoiled kids with difficult parents.
Yeah, and I've had that job before where even though I worked with kids, I also had to work with the parents, and then to really make both happy and then still have like my vision. And then I don't think necessarily the kids, because they're young, they don't really care. They just want to have presents and play with their friends. I don't think they would appreciate the work I would put in. So I wouldn't get the impact from the kids.
Yeah.
And the parents are maybe hit or miss. So no, I think I would hate it.
Good. What about what are local activities where you would think that'd be so cool to guide people? Like one thing that comes to mind is I could totally see you guiding hikes.
I thought about this, and for some reason I'm not saying I wouldn't like it, but I wouldn't. It was never my favorite part of. We had some hikes too.
Okay.
It was never my favorite part.
It's something more of an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, and it's also, which often is great, but it also, sometimes you do have guests you don't necessarily vibe with, and then a hike is a very long time where you need to come up with conversations and kind of small talk possibly, and a hike.
No,
I don't. One thing but this is also very seasonal, but for example, I don't even know if I need a degree for this or not, but like whale watching tours, for example.
Oh, yes. Guiding boat tours.
Yeah. As I love being on the water, and but at the same time, I would enjoy it mainly for the activity. But that's again such a short interaction, and like some guests might want to interact and some might not want to interact at all. So I think there could be times where I don't even really have that connection with the guests.
How about a role where it's more vacation planning to Hawaii, and you get to know them before they come and get to know them like what they want to do, and then help them put together an itinerary. And you might not be the one to guide every activity, but you could guide one of them maybe, or take them on one of the activities, so that there's more of a relationship aspect to it.
I think with that though, I wouldn't enjoy the planning as much.
Yeah, I get
like it. A little bit planning, I think I could do and I could be good at, but I feel like that then mostly would be the planning.
You're
and
right.
I don't think I want to do that.
Yeah. And when we're thinking about guiding a zipline, for example, like doing zipline tours, would that be the same feeling as it is for the boat tour, where it's like it would be fun, but it's too short to really build a relationship with them?
Yeah. Yeah.
When we think about the fitness class teaching or yoga teaching, does that feel the same, or does that feel different because some people you will see week after week?
I think it'll be different. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it might then be better to have as the people you want to work with to be people who live here, because there can be a relationship that you build over time.
I think it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, because when you think about my guiding, also, they are not local.
But you have like a whole week with them, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think when we think about guiding, it could also be guiding here in Hawaii, where I do see them every day.
Yeah.
And then the activities are different too.
How would that feel?
I honestly don't know. I feel like that's something I wouldn't know until I tried it.
Yeah.
Because I thought about it many times, and it could definitely give me the fulfillment. But I've never guided where I live, so I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't. I'm really not sure.
I think that is something that would be very worth looking into.
I think, you're trying to help me figure out what to do next. But I think another thing that I just have to consider is, well, first of all, even without a baby, I never want to do a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job ever again. That is just not me. I don't want to do an office job. But also, with the way things are right now, I need to have somewhat of a flexible job.
Right.
And I would love to just work on certain days, or love to be able to say, yes, I can, or no, I can't, or like I need that because I have a baby, but also I think even without a baby, that's just how I like it now.
Yeah. And I think that's why guiding is possible, because it wouldn't be like a 8 to 5, right? It would be maybe you do 1 tour a week. Just as an opportunity, one option. Another thought I have is, how do you feel, because this pet, right, this elderly, is that something you enjoy? Or with people who are going through health struggles?
Not enough to make it really my next career.
Yeah.
Like I really, I love it with the elderly lady that I'm taking care of. And I do love to see how, the impact I have on her.
Yeah.
I'm also right now trying to build up that program again, where we take children to nursing homes. And I know that will give me a lot of fulfillment as well. But I don't think I would make this a career.
Yeah. And I think it's the high energy again. And I think the elderly lady that you currently work with, she can have that fun and energetic, as you were sharing. But that wouldn't be the norm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also with like people who have health struggles, I know it would be probably very, like, it would feel good being there for someone, but I don't necessarily think it would be good for me.
Yeah.
With my mom having cancer and everything, I just can't have more people in my life that are sick.
Yeah. No, I get it. I totally get it. So it's really about activities that are high energy, at least some of the time, not all of the time, but yoga, fitness, boat tours to some extent, zip lining, high rope courses. So guiding people on those activities is the most enjoyable, when it also allows for a relationship to be built.
Yes, I think so. I think so, but I don't know why it feels so different with the thought of it would be here.
Because you love traveling.
Yeah. And it could be. It could. Yeah.
And it's probably not gonna be as perfect as your last guiding role. because it brings all the pieces together, right? It's the love for travel, the love for adventure, that exciting activities, being in different countries, having a group you spend a week with. It really brings all the pieces together. And hopefully you can do that again one day when the time is right. I mean, they'd be crazy not to hire you back. So I think it's about finding something in the meantime that gives you the flexibility you're looking for and as many of the pieces as possible. And the one that's probably the hardest one is the travel with your baby.
I think what maybe this just shows me, which is not a surprise, that really if I'm only working in Hawaii and not traveling for work, that I really need more than one thing.
Yeah. And that's perfectly fine. It doesn't have to be this one thing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're already finding pieces. You have the role as an officiant right now, where sometimes you get to do an inter-island trip. It's not as exciting as traveling to Costa Rica, but it's still a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's doable with baby. And then you have the yoga and fitness coming up, which is also parts of it, right? That's high energy and guiding people. And then if you think about like adding a third thing into it, that could give you a really nice balance of different activities that are flexible but still meet as much as possible of what you're looking for.
I think it sounds perfect. I just think because you said the third thing is missing, but technically the second thing is missing too. I mean, I know what I want, like with the yoga instructor, but I don't know when that will actually happen. So right now also most of the weddings that I'm scheduled are all in the summer. So I feel like the next few months I'm still just lost and don't really have anything. And I know this takes time, but I think by the time I may have figured out the third thing, then it's summer, then the weddings are here. But it's like I'm not good at waiting for those things. You know, I want to work on things right now. So we're using also the time right now to work more on the podcast. But yeah, if I had three things that I can rotate, I think I would be extremely happy. Yeah. But I just
you also need variety.
I definitely need variety.
Yeah, you're not the person who wants to do the same thing every single day.
No.
How do you feel about looking at exciting activities locally? And you know most of them, but to like maybe look at more from a tourist perspective of like, okay, if you've never been to Hawaii and you wanted to have a really cool vacation, what would you do here? And then look at those places and see what roles they have available. Like, I mean, you know, I once applied for Windward Side, the big ranch, Kualoa.
Oh, Kualoa. Yeah.
Yeah. I applied there as a horseback riding guide, right? And
I did too.
You did the horseback riding. I still think that would be such a cool job. It wouldn't be for me, but it does not pay the most, obviously.
Yeah, it does not. It does not.
And I think that's going to be a little bit tricky of having the flexibility, but still a really good income.
Yeah. And I think that will be the problem. And I think that's where it also comes in what I said earlier is there are a lot of things that I'm interested in. Like I would love to be a horseback riding guide. I would love to work on the boat. I would love all of them. But is it worth my time and effort? And will they accept just like, you know, like accept that I can only work when my husband is home or like only once a week or whatever? I think that all will be really hard to find and might just not be worth my effort because it's not like the thing, you know, where it's like, I need to do this. Like for the instructor thing, I will do that no matter what. I will do it. But will I go totally out of the way for maybe not good pay or no flexibility or, you know, having to find a babysitter that I probably have to pay more for than I make. So all those things, even if I find something that I would enjoy, all the other things need to line up too.
what is it that you can bring your baby with you? I'm wondering, I've never heard of it, but are there mom and baby led activities that are paid? I mean, I know of unpaid ones. Um, Fit for Mom, they're always hiring instructors. Have you ever looked into that?
Mm. I mean, I could, but then I would have to become an instructor first. I'm not actually an instructor yet.
I don't know what type of instructor you would need to be, because they just do, like, they do stroller walks, right? And then they do some more activity. I've never done a class with them, but then they do more like also, yeah, they just do different activities. I mean, I don't think you need to be an instructor to do a stroller walk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
I have to say, I don't think I will totally love this job, but I think the fact that I could bring my baby would be worth looking into.
Yeah, because it's, you can bring your baby. It is a little more high energy depending on the class. And you don't have to pay a babysitter. And I think they are only like, they do classes like 4 times a week or something. So it seems like it's not a full-time schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, it's worth looking into, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, so that could be one to look into. And that's a wrap on today's coaching session with Alica. I hope you love getting a peek into what real career clarity work looks and feels like, full of discovery, laughter, and a few heartfelt, oh, that's why moments. This session was packed with insights, but one of the biggest takeaways was putting language to what truly lights Alica up. She realized that it's not just about the job title or the setting, it's about her impact. Her deepest sense of fulfillment comes from being there for others, supporting, encouraging, walking beside them as they navigate fear or uncertainty, and being part of their emotional and transformational journeys. That's when her true energy shows up, joyful, magnetic, and totally contagious. You will get more of this on her podcast, the Hungry for More podcast. She also got clarity around her Sparketype profile. While she initially leaned toward the nurture identity, this conversation helped her also see her advisor side, especially when we reframed it as guiding and supporting rather than giving advice. And it became clear how both Sparketypes, the advisor and the nurturer, are deeply alive in her. And maybe the most liberating insight of all, Alica and you don't need to fit herself into one neat little career box. She is someone who thrives on variety, emotional connection, and vibrant, high-energy experiences. Whether she's guiding a tour, officiating a wedding, leading a yoga class, or planning an event, her career sweet spot lies in creating memorable, meaningful experiences that uplift others. That is truly her magic. And if listening today sparked a little fire in you, like maybe it's time to find the work that actually feels like you, then let's make it happen. Book a free career clarity consultation call with my team and let's unlock your next chapter together. You can find the link in the show notes right below. Thank you for tuning in, everyone, and I'll see you next time. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Career Clarity Unlocked. If you're feeling stuck in that what's next spiral and are ready to finally break free, let's chat. You can book your free career clarity call where we'll uncover what's really important to you, tackle any obstacles holding you back, and map out your best next step. Schedule your free 30-minute call today on careerbloomcoaching.com. And before you head out, be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify so you never miss an episode. If today's conversation gave you new insights and inspiration, please leave a review. It really helps us reach more amazing listeners like you. And don't forget to share this episode with a friend or on social media. Your support truly means the world. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time.